Hello everyone. Today's poem is 哥舒歌 by 西比人. Though the two names here is very interesting. 哥舒 is a person's name, but it's not a Chinese name, so everyone, even today, the Chinese people will know it's not a Chinese name. 哥舒, the full name is Geshu Han, a very famous military general in the Tang dynasty, and he was the so-called Huren, the people or the ethnic race from the Central Asia, from the Iran today. So in that time, the Tang people will call those people Huren. There's so many sort of the Huren lived within the empire of the Tang dynasty. Their lifestyle and culture has such a strong influence on the Tang dynasty. We can see it everywhere in the life, in the culture, in the literature. Let's take example. The Tang people, they like to go to the bars that operated by the Hu people. Hu people is the people from the Central Asia, and they drink wines made of grape, because the wine is originated from the Iran. That's also from Central Asia. They like to see the dancing girls from the Central Asia, so they are famous for huji and in the bar, and they like to wear the clothing of the Huren, of the Central Asia style clothing, some of the Tang people. And there's so many people from the Central Asia living in the capital cities. It was told more than 100,000 people from Central Asia was living in the capital city, Chang'an City, at the time. And the majority of them are doing the merchant work, going back and forth on the Silk Road. And also there's a lot of the restaurant bars operated by the Hu people, and the dancers, the beautiful dancers is also from the Central Asia, Huji. That's the place that Li Bai like most. Not only Li Bai, of course, a lot of the Tang poets, they like to go to the restaurant operated by the Central Asia people, by the Hu people. And also a lot of the most famous musicians, they are from Central Asia as well. So we can see a lot of thought of the poems describing the musicians, they play music. The musician is from Central Asia. And in our poem, in this poem, the general, the military general, is people from Central Asia. And also the general An Lushan, Shi Siming, the two generals who started the civil war, is Huren, the people from Central Asia as well. And very funnily, when the civil war broke, Geshu Han, the character in this poem, he was ordered to guard the most important blockage castles, which is actually the last blockage castles from the capital city. And then he failed, and he surrendered to the rebellion troops. The Central Asia has such an influence on the Tang dynasty as well as to today, but today's people normally don't realize it. So when you ever see a character or word starting with Hu, so that's from the Central Asia. Let me give you some example. Hu Tao, Hu Jiao, Hu Luobo, Hu Qin. So it's the spice, vegetables, and musical instrument. Also the wines. The Tang people like to drink the wines made of the grape. And after Tang Dynasty, there's such a long time we have no wine made of grape at all until the Europeans come to China and bring the wines to China. And in the Tang Dynasty, actually, we have the wine made of grape because the wine originated is from the Iran and from the Central Asia, Shiraz city. The poet 西比人 is not a real person, as the Xi can never be a Chinese family name. So with hard translation, 西比人 means a person from the west frontiers. Another very important evidence is we know there's a folk song of the time like this. 北斗七星高，哥舒夜带刀，吐蕃总杀却，更筑两重壕. So it's the first two sentences is totally the same, and the third and fourth sentences describing the war between the Tang Empire with the Tibet Empire of the time. In the real history, actually, the Geshu Han, the general, is famous for his feat to defeat the Tibet troops and guard this area, this land, over 1,000 miles with peace. So the people there are very grateful for Geshu Han, and thus they have the poem, the folk songs. So if we look at the map of this area, it's basically the Gansu province. So it's just like a corridor, and to the south is the high-rise Tibet Plateau, and to the north is the Gobi, the desert, and some farmland. And this corridor is a place for the peasant. So in such a very closed small area, a very closed area, there are three types of the livings coexist. So to the north is a nomad people of the Hu people, and to the south is the people from the high mountains, which is the Tibetan people, and in these corridors is the peasant of the Tang empires. So the nomad and the Tibet people, they always like to rob or take the land or rob the people of the peasant. Because the Tibet people and the nomad people, they have the horse. They are moving very quickly, very fast, and they take something and went. You can never locate it or find them out. And also that's one of the major reasons that China built the Great Wall, because it's really hard to defeat the nomad people. They are on the horse. The whole family, the kids, the women, it's all on horses. You can never locate them and try to defeat them or try to talk to them. With this, you can feel how grateful the normal people are grateful or thankful to Geshu Han, because this guy keep their families, keep their wealth safe. Otherwise, the Tibet or the nomad people from on the north, they will come down to their farmland, kill several people, not too much people, kill several people and take their harvest of the year away. It's not a blame to the nomad people. That's the lifestyle of different group people. But anyhow, if I was born as a farmer, I had to guard my family. I had to guard my farmland. Okay, let's have the poem now. 哥舒歌，西比人，北斗七星高，哥舒 夜带刀，至今窥牧马，不敢过临洮。So as the background we have told, it's a very, very simple poems. It's from a folk song. So folk songs always talk straight and talk the real things. And that's also the very spirit of the Chinese poetry. We call it 古风, the spirits from the classic spirits or the ancient spirit talk straight and talk real things. 北斗七星高, so the stars all over above. 哥舒夜带刀, so because the writing pattern, he shortened the name Geshu Han to Geshu, so everybody know this guy, so famous. 哥舒夜带刀, so Geshu, the general, he carried his sword in the night time. 至今窥牧马, so the third sentence actually is changing from the angle of a Tibet or a nomad in the north. So till today, they are looking or watching very secretly to see if they can come over to shepherd their horses. 牧马, shepherd the horse. The last sentence, 不敢过临洮. They dare not to come over to the area of 临洮, or 临洮 here is an area just a little bit south to the Lanzhou city, the capital city of Gansu province. So basically this refers to the big long corridor of this corridor area. The third and fourth sentences actually changed from the perspective of the Tibetan or the nomad people on the north, because in the folk songs it's pointed out very clearly that's the Tibetan people, and in the history, the real history is between the Tibetan people and the General Geshu Han. But here, with the revision of this poem, actually he refers to both. Could be Tibetan people or could be the nomad people on to the north. So it doesn't matter, because in this area, the battle between the nomad, the farmland, the peasant, or the mountain peoples is always there through the Chinese history. So that's a big thing for the people living in this area. So the third and fourth sentence change from the angle of a Tibetan or a nomad of the north, that till today he always looking secretly, watching secretly to this area, the corridor area, to see if they can come here to shepherd their horse. So shepherd horse here actually basically means battles or robberies, whatsoever. It's a bad thing for the people living in this area. 不敢过临洮. So till today they still look very carefully, secretly, and they dare not to come over to this area. 临洮 is a place a little bit south to the capital city of the Gansu province. Basically, it means this long corridor over 1,000 miles. This refers all these areas. So the third and fourth sentence means the Tibetan people or the nomad people on the north, even the general Geshu Han is not here, because 至今 actually implies the general is not here. He has left this area for quite a long time, several years, 10 years maybe. But the Tibetan people or the nomad people on the north, they still dare not to come. So that's a big question. It's a small question actually. That means when the general is living here, he guard this land perfectly. He carry his sword and walk the land in the nighttime. So that in the nighttime means day and night, not to say the daytime. So he keep the peace perfectly, and also through the wars with the Tibetan people, he actually built his fame and power toward the Tibetan people. So even the general has left this area for many years. All those people, they still dare not come here. It's the most gratefulness, thankfulness to the generals. Also in the other way, it's the highest level of accomplishment to the General Geshu Han. This poem is a very, very simple poem, but with thoughtful writing techniques. So normally, the first sentence people think is nothing. It's just a typical writing techniques. 星 you depict a scenario at the very beginning, and then you go to the things you are writing about. So it looks very naturally, and make the things you try to describe or express more significantly, and also associate with some of the environment. That's the general explanation to this poem. Anyhow, if we look into the classic Chinese astrology, we'll know that Beidou, the star here, is really different stars and means a lot. The basic theory is the sun, the moon, and all the stars consist a word, which a word in the heaven, and we are living in the world of the on the earth, or of the human beings. And these two words is quite similar, and also they are involving, or they are the things happened synchronized. So there's an emperor in the heaven, there's an emperor on the earth, there's normal people, and there's also normal stars on the heavens. And if the emperor on the heaven, it moves some different, or has something happened, that things will happen on the earth of the emperor as well. So that's a very, very important job in the royal government, in the central government. They have the positions to watch the stars very carefully and record the change and any atmospheres, and then they should explain or interpret the change or the things in the terms of the human's world. That means to make a prophecy sort of things. That it's through the Chinese history, 3,000 years of record, and plus the interpretations of the phenomenon of the stars. That's tons of the huge amount of the files and records. Actually, I have no time, and also I don't have such a knowledge to tell the Chinese classic astrology. But here it's very clear. The Beidou, that this stars is normally it was treated as a vehicle of the emperor, and later on it was referred to as the emperor itself. So here, with this implication here, this poem is extremely political correct. As the Chinese always say, under the heaven, all the land belongs to the emperor. That means everything or any fees will go to the emperors. And here, with 北斗七星高, with this sentences means above our emperor is on the most highest level. So, which means who is handling the whole situation. And under the heaven, 哥舒夜带刀. So this general fulfill his duty day and night, carry the sword all around, and keep all the people here in these long corridors safe. Okay, that's for this poem. The Chinese classic astrology actually appears in the Tang poetry quite often. Let's see the term 分野, 生与商, that's 2 stars. So and here 北斗七星. So that's all the Chinese classic astrology terms, and also in the Tang poetry, all these astrology terms or the stars actually refers to some of the roles it played that correspondent to the world of the humans. As it was told, 诗无达姑, there's so many ways to interpret or explain a poem. So I had my ways of explanation for this poem, and believe or not, it's up to you. Okay, that's for today. Bye bye.